What's good, everyone? It's Gavin or Tweek.
What's good? What's good? What's good? It is Marcus or Pink.
And what's going on? It's Matt or Haz. We're coming to you live YouTube, Spotify, Apple Premium. What else we got? We got some other stuff. I don't know. So, are we on something else? I don't know.
Patreon.
Where's Chuck? Help. Patreon. Hey, good transition.
True, Chuck.
Patreon. Yeah, we're going to miss Chuck this week, obviously. What's going on, everyone? It's good to be here. It feels like we're back. There were so many good tournaments this weekend, so many crazy results, so much to cover. And it's all going to be on our Patreon episode. No, I'm just kidding. We're covering, the breakdown of this episode is going to be Kowloon, of course, talking through all the tournaments that happened this weekend, all the crazy results. We're going to talk about that in the main episode. Patreon there's been a lot of talk about rankings coming up. Lumi rankings coming out pretty soon. I think it's actually at Supernova is where the final kind of placements are being announced. So pretty exciting time to be a Smash Ultimate fan, which is not something we've been saying a ton recently on the show. So I'm very happy it really felt like I was up late, 2 a.m. watching a Japanese tournament. I was like, damn, and I was excited. Like actually really excited watching the results. And it was so stacked. It was hard not to appreciate. So main episode, we're talking tournaments. Patreon content, we're talking rankings and getting it from Gavin's point of view. I mean, you're a person who's directly affected by this stuff. Just want to get your insight, how much you care and how much does it affect your day-to-day and all that good stuff. So excited to hear all that stuff. So how are you doing today, Marcus?
What's up, man? I'm good, man. I took a nap before this podcast started. Bro, I'd be tired, man. I had to get me a good nap in. Woke up, I was like, ooh, a little bit of a little pep in the step. Unk moving. Yeah, life's good. And I definitely agree with the smash is back type thing. I don't know. Like normally when I've been watching tournaments, even like the good ones, like CEO or Acola one, I was still kind of asleep. I was like, I mean, all right, whatever. Yeah. But then I don't know. Like this past weekend, Warehouse Wars, Leo was moving. I was like, oh my God.
It was different.
It was different. And then obviously Kowloon, Spargo being a fighter, bro kept me up. I kept trying to. I was like, dude,
I know.
I'm going to sleep. Like, please let me sleep. You know what? It's cool. One more set. It's fine. Like, we'll see where it's. I actually passed out right before Spargo and Acola played, and then I woke up and I was like, wait, what? Wait, huh? So yeah, I'm doing great. And then obviously I guess we could pass it on over to Big Gav. Got him. He said I knew that was coming.
What's good? I've been chilling, just getting ready for Supernova. Tiny's been doing well. We've done some ups to her insulin dosage, checking her blood. She's been doing good today specifically. She has a lot of energy. She's lost a pound or so, maybe a little more. And yeah, she's doing well. Just been practicing Smash. I guess it kind of feels like the calm before the storm. I did a watch party of Warehouse War and Kowloon, and I had a good time. I couldn't watch all of Kowloon because I had to wake up early the next day, but I watched all of top 8 of Warehouse War. I watched some really big sets from Kowloon, like the winner set of Spargo Doramigi, and a lot of Ryuoh sets, like Ryuoh versus Ken, Ryuoh versus Raru-kun. Diddy Kong got top 8, which is amazing. I love watching Zackray play as well. I think Pit is really, really good, really cool. I think Zackray is as cool as you can get when it comes to being a Smash player. And it was a good stream. The watch party's been doing really well on Twitch. So
yeah. Dude, we need a Zackray. And YouTube. We need a Zackray counter. Like how many times we talk about the GOAT this episode because he was so fun to watch. Obviously,
it's too cool. It's too cool.
It is, but dude, I mean, it made me appreciate level 1 a ton as well. Like just really putting to that was what a big W and beating one of the coolest, best players ever. Like there's just so much to talk about. And how are you doing? How about you, Chuck? How you doing? Join the call.
Hey, what up? I made it kind of. I'm a little late. Sorry, guys.
No, it's okay.
Good to
have you. Are you guys talking about some Smash Brothers?
Possibly.
Yeah, it's a new thing. It's a new thing we're gonna try out between Yu-Gi-Oh and basketball and Tiny
Pokemon and
yeah.
God.
Oh, nice. We're transitioning to a Smash podcast. W.
We're gonna give it a shot, see if it fits, see if we fit well in the space. What's up, Chuck? It's good to see you, man.
Yeah, good to see you guys too. It's I was a little late, but everyone else was like kind of late, so it worked out. So W. And yeah, I mean my life right now has just been a hectic with work, but I still obviously make time to watch some Smash because goddamn, Zackray's super hyped to watch, man. That shit was lit.
Someone get the Zackray counter going, bro. It's already starting.
Yeah, it's
it's
like it's just crazy because when you play a character like Pit, obviously I don't think the character is weak at all, but there's no part in which Zackray does something and you're like, dang, Pit is messed up. Like there are some scenarios, very very specific scenarios where you're like, wow, Pit pretty much had every tool for X scenario, but for the most part, just I also one of my favorite Smash mechanics was introduced in Smash 4, and it was drag down. So essentially, multi hits have some type of magnet towards the center of the move, so you can drag down and then not have them get hit by the final hit. This made a lot of things possible, and particularly Smash 4, like Fox Fair Footstool is like probably the strongest thing that would kill you at 0. But there's also a lot of combo extensions that you would do, is like launch someone up, do some kind of multi hit, drag them back down. Something like Pikachu and Ultimate is probably the biggest offender of that. It's really cool to see Pit use it too, especially with there's so many different multi hits that Pit can use for this for different scenarios, like the fair drag downs, the nair drag downs. Sometimes they're consistent, sometimes they're not. Kind of reminds me of something like Banjo Nair, where it's like, man, if they always appeared on one side, this would be really strong, but it's a coin flip, right? But just seeing Zackray abuse things like that with his really strong fundamentals and game sense, it's watching it all come together is so sick. And it's just it's not even. I think the coolest thing about Zackray is not even necessarily the combos he does. It's more of just like the advantage state sequences, especially when they involve neutral resets, where it's just like Zackray beats you in neutral, and then he gets this reset, but it's not like a super hard reset in a sense of like, oh, I'm going to have advantage state, right? It's just like, oh, we're in neutral again, and I outplay you again, and then I outplay you again. Then I have advantage state. Outplay you there. Boom, boom, boom. Goes into this great. Like his sequences are the best. They're just the best. It's so fun to watch, and they're so creative.
Did he, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but he went regular Pit and winners and then went dark Pit and losers? Is that how that worked? Like, I'm pretty sure that's what I saw, and I saw other people talking about it, but I wasn't 100%.
Dang, he went to the dark side.
I was like, bro went to the darkness, bro. I was so pumped. I was like, damn.
I don't know if he went dark Pit at all, actually.
He did. He used it versus Ryuoh. Yeah, but I don't think it was like planned, because I think he's Pit after that. I think he's regular Pit after that.
He got level 1?
I think so, and then he's
regular Pit with the dark skin, maybe.
he beat Ryuoh in winners with regular Pit the whole time. So
yeah, it's regular Pit winners, and then he went to the darkness, bro. He changed, dude. Him against Ryuoh. I was like, bro, I gotta see Gavin against Zackray. I gotta see him because
as a Diddy player, I think regular Pit would be better versus Diddy than dark Pit.
I feel like that's for most matchups in general, right? I think Pit versus Dark Pit, Pit generally gets picked more in terms of just who's better for what matchup because of the flexibility of the arrows. But I can see some matchups where Dark Pit is better, where you want a little bit more strength and you don't need the flexibility.
Yeah, like versus Snake or something.
Right.
But for Diddy, even though you have the strength to like tap Diddy out of barrels and stuff, I still think the regular arrow is better because you don't have to deal with Diddy Kong's like monkey flip mix-ups if you have like a way to actually track him down. And then if you have a way to cover multiple spaces in the air, you don't have to deal with the mix-up as much, and you can actually exploit Diddy's air mobility being bad. In comparison to Snake, where you want like the Dark Pit arrow because it's the only way to actually hit him out of Cypher, especially because a lot of your moves are multi-hits, so they won't work versus Cypher anyways. But yeah, it's pretty interesting, especially because like Pit can use his arrows a little bit more vertically compared to Dark Pit, so you can also deal with like Diddy Kong's disadvantage mix-ups that way without having to commit to anything too specific. But yeah, I really liked watching Zackray play. I really liked watching Ryuoh's run because he had to play some tough matchups like Sonic and Luigi, and he was able to beat Ken and Raru. And it's cool to see Spargo get the run back on Doramigi because the winner set was pretty brutal in my opinion. It was very chaotic. I actually haven't watched the loser set, but it was cool to look back at the results and see that. It's like Marcus said, dude was just fighting, bro.
Bro.
He's fighting.
I felt so bad for Spargo because I don't think they've played before. I don't know if they ever played friendlies or anything like that, but I think that was their first meeting in bracket. And I think most people who have fought Min Min are used to, I don't want to say it this way, but like the Debuzz style Min Min, like the really defensive, like I'm just gonna poke and like keep you away as much as possible. But Dora's like the complete opposite of that, where it's like very, very aggressive. Like he kind of plays Min Min like Luigi in a sense, like very, very aggressive. Like I just want to hit you one time and like send it, just full send it. Like your stock is over if I touch you once. And I just think Spargo wasn't ready for it, and it like threw him for a loop, and he tried to hop in like, bro, I'm just gonna fight, like, and we're just gonna. I mean, it don't even matter if I get hit. Like, we're just gonna trade, like, because once I hit you, that's the Spargo, right? Like, once I hit you, you're gonna be put in disadvantage forever. Nah. It's harder for a Cloud to hit Min Min than Min Min to hit Cloud. So, bro's just trying to get a hit and just dying, like, and it just kept happening over and over. Toward the end of the set, I did notice him starting to pick his spots a lot better in the winner's side. And I was just like, okay, if he wins this game, like he might be able to close out the set. So yeah, so I was pretty confident about if they were to play again in losers, that Spargo would do a lot better. He would take a lot more advantage of like Dora just doing the craziest down airs just out of disadvantage, which you have to do as Min Min, make him respected. But I was pretty confident, so it was good to see him to get that run back, because Spargo had to fight. Like, this was not an easy tournament for him at all. Like, a lot of close sets, a lot of close games that one or two interactions could have gone like completely differently. Like, I remember he fought not level 1, but another Toon Link whose name's escaping me currently. But he like ran off stage game 5 last stock, and he like upbeat the ledge, and Toon Link tried to forward tilt. If that 2-frame hit, he lost the game. Like, it was just like small moments where like he would have been out of the tournament, but he just kept fighting. And I mean, he proved that he deserves to be where he is, and that's something I appreciate about him, because he'll have some rough events, but he'll always bounce back, and like he'll keep fighting. And that's hard to do, especially when you're like really young, when like you've tasted the top of the world, and then you start losing. It's really hard. It can be hard to bounce back, but he has a really good head on his shoulders. So.
Dude, yeah, two things made me feel old this weekend, as they tend to do these days. So the first one was, again, we're going to talk about it more on the Patreon, is I can't believe the rankings conversation has come full circle to where people are wondering what it would be like to not have rankings. We're going to talk about it on Patreon. That was like, wow, I can't believe that's how long I've been around. That's crazy. The other one was the growth of Spargo as a human. Just how, when he was young, if he took an L like this, he would private on social media, he would be quiet, or he would whatever. Like, he would disappear. But he had a really good, and I thought, mature tweet as well, where he said, knew the day was going to come eventually. Props to Acola for beating me, even at my peak. Like, no excuses. Like, none of this stuff. Just, hey, you beat me. Like, that was really impressive. I knew this would happen someday, right? Like, just giving props and being respectful. Like, and obviously not the result he wanted. So I just really respect him for that.
I think when Acola beats Spargo, because I've noticed a lot of times there's like really nice interactions between the two of them, a lot of hugging, a lot of like respect. I think when Acola beat him, I think Spargo like looked at him and just said win. Like, I don't know if that's actually true, but like I swear, like I looked there's like this one specific camera angle where you could see him, like he like, it's like anime pro tag, like, hey, take my power, like win this event, like, because I'm sure he respects him so much, like, bro, you can do it. Like, I know it's 2 sets against Miya, but you can get the win, bro. Like, and that's what I like. He's not like upset that he finally lost or anything like that. He's just like very respectful, like, dang, it happened, but that dude's the GOAT. Like, I mean, it is what it is. Like, I mean, we can't say Acola's the GOAT, but
yeah,
he's working his way there.
A+ pop up though.
Hold on. I think the
lawnmower
he
starter
doesn't
in
like
there?
he says win there. Like, it's like win. Like,
Right, go back. Hold on, full screen that, Chris. Let's get it.
full screen.
All right, send full screen. Yeah. Hey. Something right there. You said, Matt, right?
Win or W, either one.
I don't know what he said, but it looks like he's telling him to, like, win. Like,
Yeah, or at least like
Uh,
encouraging him to going like
which
to the rest
is
of the
which is
bracket.
hard for a lot of people to do after a tough loss like that.
It was Spargo was like one of the last people on Acola's list. You could tell, dude. And again, that pop off A plus, like that was a really really good pop off. I gotta give it up. That was
How
clean.
many sets did it take? I mean, what set?
Could find out in
Like,
a second.
yeah, one thing I want to touch up before I even start talking about Acola versus Spargo is Dormi's Min Min. I think again we always think of the best player of the characters. I think towards the beginning of a Smash cycle, I think the players that master the defensive parts of the game are usually the players that will be like the best of X character and stuff like that. But I feel like we're at the point of the game where you can't just be like solid neutral and stuff with the character. And I think it shows with Sonics, it shows with Shiny Mark, it shows with Doramigi. Like you have to be able to get a hit with these characters that command so much respect in neutral. Like the three characters I just named, the reason why they're good is because their neutral is so strong and consistent and safe, right? That I mean, just from a surface level, you look at those characters, whether it be range or mobility that they're getting it from, their neutral is very powerful. But these players push the offense of these characters, and especially, man, like watching Dormigi, or even like the first time I started seeing this is like Proto, when you see Min Min just hit any character and just run off stage and do ram into jump, and it just covers the entire offstage area. Like that stuff is so broken. Sniping double jumps, you put them in, it can combo into like the dragon arm, which we saw in game and earlier off of that. So really optimizing offense and knowing when to take the risk reward, when it's like, oh, okay, I can run off throughout this ram and my reward is I take your stock at 50 or 60%, right? So to me, that is just crazy. And just highlighting the offense of these character specialists, I think is super important. And now I want to talk
100%.
about Acola's. Oh, you got the set count?
I do. Shout out to the Smashers app. One of my favorite apps out there, dude. I
Hey,
use it
shout
every
out.
tournament I cast. I use it. They didn't even ask me to plug it or anything. They're just awesome. Acola won their first encounter ever back in fall 2022.
Oh,
He
okay,
won
okay.
3-2, but it's been a
Yeah, you're
cold
right.
streak of 0-7 since then until last weekend. So kind of snuck one in the beginning, and then it was, I mean, that was 2 years ago, dude. It's been a 2-year loss streak basically
Wow.
from there on out. So, and it started like right after that, it scuffed as well, where Spargo struck back and won 3-2. So it's been that way for a minute. And those wins were with Steve. I think that's important to note as well. Or the first win was with Steve, and then this last one, obviously, he's tried everything: Donkey Kong, Pyramithra, and like the thing about the Pyramithra is it's like it's one job is to beat Spargo. You know what I mean? So I'm curious to see from here, like, is he going to try to? Because now, I mean, start talking about Miya yet either, because what a tournament to be dominant at. It's just a ridiculous performance from Miya across the board. So it's like, is Acola, is this Aegis thing going to flesh out a little bit? Is it just a Spargo thing? But that was just a spot. I don't know. This is definitely the most interesting saga right now for Acola, where it's like everyone kind of wrote him off like, oh, he's the best Steve. All right, yeah, whatever. But now it's like, damn, is he really becoming that guy? Like, that's what I want to see. Is that what's happening here? I'm very curious.
Is this the first tournament that Acola has placed higher than Spargo? Because you said that their first encounter, he beat Spargo, but did he place higher than Spargo at that tournament that he beat him at?
The summit that he won, he placed higher than Spargo because Spargo lost to Void.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, usually it's if Spargo loses before getting to Aqua.
Right. Okay,
It's
so it's
usually
like
a pretty simple.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Spargo was always that guy for the last 2 years. They run into each other. Spargo wins. Like, it's
I've
not
seen-
the first time.
Whenever Spargo loses, I've seen Acola like in the venue drop all of his stuff and start jumping around when Spargo loses. Like it looks. I'm not exaggerating. It looked like the pop off that you saw when he beat Spargo. I'm not kidding. This has happened in real life.
I mean, that is him beating
He
Spargo.
Yeah,
Everyone got their demons. Everyone got their demons, bro.
Essentially, yeah. Like he knows like what that means for the rest of the bracket. So, yeah.
I feel a lot of competitors can relate to that, where it's like you're in, even if it's at your local bracket or something like that, there's just that one player that you know you can beat everyone else, but not this one player. And then the one player gets upsetted or someone takes them out and you're just like, damn, all right, sick. I win this tournament. And that's just funny, but I think it's relatable across all levels of, competition.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I love the Aegis though. I honestly think that Aegis was nice. And I know we saw like double Pyro forward smash. A little Steve came out during the bracket or during that
Hey.
set. But hey, the hurt box
Hey.
is crazy. That hurt box shift is crazy, and it hit though. So when the forward smash hits, and you can't really complain too much. But I will say the fast falls from the Mithra, very clean. A lot of like rising fair bursting to counteract Cloud setting up jump and then instantly fast falling. I thought the Mithra was really clean. I thought the switches were clean. I thought, dude, that is insane counterplay. That is so smart. Just high Cloud up B, usually very safe versus most of the cast. So if Cloud can get to the ledge or above the ledge with double jump and then just go for that, that's really strong. But Pyra having the up B out of shield to punish that was so good. We saw it multiple times throughout the set. We saw so much specific counterplay, and even just also Acola knowing the exact windows of down tilt for Mithra into up smash, getting the KO at around 130, very Diddy-esque, right? Where it's like, okay, at high percents, I have these specific setups that get the KO, and especially when it's on someone like Mithra, best neutral in the game, that's insane. So I honestly felt like Acola was looking really clean, and if Miya continues to give him trouble, Pyramithra also destroys
Game and Watch.
So I think Mia's combination of characters is very strong, but I think Acola's combination of characters might be stronger, but I'm not too sure. I just feel like when we're thinking in general, it's like, oh, okay, well, what destroys Steve? I'm pretty sure Pyramithra can cover all of Steve's handful of bad matchups. So I think it's a crazy combination. I think Acola investing his time into Aegis is very smart, and I think it's starting to pay off, and we're seeing like the biggest part of the payoff. Like Has said, I think first the Aegis was just for Spargo, but I think we might see Acola expand that Aegis out into other problematic matchups or players.
It's a hell of a confidence booster, right? I don't think it gets much better than that. Not just beating Spargo with a character, but you're a bracket demon, like someone who has just gatekept you for 2 years while you're the number 1 ranked player. Like that's what I'm saying. Like I am genuinely so interested to see what happens next, and I don't know if I've been more excited for a Supernova. Well, I guess that's fair because this is the first one ever, but you know what I'm saying. One of this tournament series, I'm genuinely so excited to see. Like the timing is impeccable. Like just going from this huge, Kowloon into like one of the best brackets we've seen in a while. Like, and let's be real, like Ultimate has not been hyped for a second, but now, dude, I'm feeling it. Like I'm really, really feeling it coming into Supernova. I was already excited because I get to see you guys and like all that good stuff, and it's going to be a good tournament regardless. But damn, like the storylines are all there, bro. Gluto's not number 1 in EU right now. Like what's going on, bro? Yeah. What is happening? Like we need a big damn tournament. We need one now, and we're gonna get it very soon. I'm so excited. We need some damn answers. Can I talk about my goat for a second? Can I talk about Asimo for like 2 seconds?
Sure.
I'm sorry, Marcus. He had a great set against Spargo. You talk about how Spargo had to fight through that top 8. Dude, game 2, that DI, I think his DI was fine on the down air, but dude, it barely killed. And so for those of you who don't know, Asimo was 0-3 against Spargo going into that set. He wins game 1 convincingly. In game 2, Asimo was marching to a 2-stock comeback, and he barely dies to a Cloud down air off the side. And Spargo, like, Tiger Woods fist pumped, I'm pretty sure. Like, he kind of popped off. He's like, oh, I needed that one. Because going down 0-2 is really tough. Asimo's conversions were amazing, like down smash into medium Hadouken, like to force the tech chase. Like, God, he was playing amazing. His aerials against Cloud, which, dude, if you've ever tried to play Ryuoh against Cloud, it sucks so bad. Back air is just such a problem. Edge guarding is so good. Focus gets beat by cross slash very easily, but he was spot dodging cross slash so well, man. He played amazing. And his whiff punishing was amazing too, dude, in the conversions afterwards. Whiff punishing Cloud aerials with Ryuoh, like, slight movement forward tilt into back air to get him off stage. It was beautiful Ryuoh play. It's like one of those things where it's like, dude, he lost 3-1. I'm like, dude, I'm such a fan though, where like, that was fucking hype. Like, it was so good. And I swear to God, if that game 2 went the other way, we might be talking him getting his first W ever on Spargo, but it's still going to be an 0-4. But I know my GOAT timing is coming, bro. He's playing so well. And again, like, the consistency with Asimo in these tournaments where, like, players like Hurt get 25th. Like, what the hell is that? No one saw that coming. Just ridiculous stuff. So I'm really happy. I'm always happy to see Asimo do well. And I've been watching his streams more, so I know he works, like, super fucking hard. So I'm always happy to see him up there. And it's just someone else who has Spargo as a bracket demon that's going to need to figure out what to do against him. But he's sticking it out with Ryuoh, and I love it. So thanks for letting me give me that 60 seconds on Asimo.
It kind of reminds me of Zackray, where like just the way Asimo flows, like there's such a like disciplined flow chart to it. Like it's very adaptable. Like he has like crazy conversions ready to go. Like that's like what the beauty of Smash is in that type of stuff to me personally. Like those types of play styles where like it's very disciplined and things flow very nicely. They take what the opponent gives them. They're always ready to like do something crazy on a dime. Like that shit is beautiful. And yeah, I hate all the fighting game characters, all of them. But Ashimo's gameplay is very, very impressive. It really is.
Remember first seeing him like at the Invitational when like everyone
Everyone's like, "Oh, this guy is different."
There's that down air. Good job, Chris. Yeah, there it is. The Tiger with this
it
up. I told you, bro. I'm tight. Rewind to Chris. Do it again for me.
I'm tight.
I was so tight. I was like, little Tiger Woods pop up. How dare you? Look at that kill, dude. I was so mad.
That was very close.
I
That
know,
was
dude.
Down airs, or he is what in the world? His down air usage is insane.
Could he have
down
Tatsu'd? I'm so curious because doesn't Tatsu
Dude.
save you about a % or so, or even more than that?
It's
something
scary.
ridiculous.
I don't know.
But like,
Hold on,
if you Tatsu there, like you're probably just gonna get back aired anyway, right?
Yeah, you're off stage. Like it's so bad. And I think he thought he was gonna live anyway, but dude, and you gotta like full context, Ashimo was down like a full stock and a half. Like, and that's where robbery territory, right? For Ryu. Rogue up air into shore you're like turbo dead. Like that's it. And dude, down air in general was interesting in this top 8 because Zackray had a lot of amazing sequences with down air too. Spargo was letting him rip a ton. Like it was a really interesting top 8 in terms of how
his main strategy versus Doramigi in winners, especially because all the games were on Battlefield, or at least most of them. And he was just down airing through the platform because he did not want to get hit by Minion. Like, so he was just like, stay away.
Swinging in self-defense, I like to call it.
Yeah, this like, here's my largest move, and I'm above you, and there's a platform in the way. Like, please do not hit me.
We're playing Ultimate. It's hit or get hit, dude. Like that's it.
There's too much to talk about at this tournament. Like
Spargo
there's just too much.
10 sets that day.
Yeah.
Acola was his 10th one. That is insane, man.
I think so did. I think Ryuoh also had 10 Ws. I'm pretty sure.
A lot of.
Oh man!
Huge congrats to Ryuoh. I've talked to him quite a bit. We've talked about matchups. He's kind of just my friend now. It's pretty awesome.
Bro came in your chat.
Shout to Aaron. Like it's like a trifecta. Like Aaron connected me to Ryuoh. Now we all talk to each other. It's pretty awesome. And he's hilarious too. But yeah, I already congratulated him personally. But if he ever sees this for some reason, great job. This was a huge tournament, and it wasn't easy. I would love to talk to him about the Pit matchup. I would. But I think he played a lot of matchups that are very hard for Diddy and for me, and I think he showed a lot of confidence versus Luigi, which is very difficult in my opinion. So yeah,
it was not just hard matchups, but really weird matchups. Yeah. Banjo, Akakakisu, he had to play against.
Oh yeah, like I didn't even mention that. This run was truly impressive for a Diddy player, because like Hero is a really weird matchup. Banjo is a weird one. I think Banjo is probably a winning matchup at the end of the day. But things like Hero, like when the match starts, you got to run a Hero. You're not pulling banana like other matchups or something like that. Go. Like him buffing himself or getting bounced is way too scary. And like, Sonic is tough because, Ken is threatening the timeout every game, and Ryuoh really had to pace himself and take the risks where they are necessary.
He beat Snow as well? No?
Yeah, he did.
Or was it Snow or now? I'm not sure.
It was Snow.
Oh, he messed up.
Yeah,
Snow. It was Snow.
Like you said, Gavin, it's a requirement.
It's a requirement.
You should have listened to the last episode, dude. You would have saved him.
Oh, the barrel god, though.
He's really good with barrels. Yeah.
He really is.
He was fun to watch this tournament, too. I love this set. This is one of my favorite sets of the tournament. I just thought it was very fun.
Yeah, I didn't know he went Dark Pit at all. I think this matchup is fantastic for Diddy. Zackray is obviously really, really good. So
Yeah, he went.
Well.
I think he only went Pit game 1 against level 1, which is really strange. But
Interesting.
he went Pit,
And then
then
Dark
Dark
Pit?
Pit, then
Bro,
Rob.
Toon Link nasty.
Dude. Yes. Bro, I've been saying that for a while. I think I'm the only one on the podcast who's been a Toon Link believer, to be honest with you. Yeah.
He's
I'll
fun
say
to
Marcus.
play, too. He's
Someone
fun.
will clip it.
Dude, run the tapes back, man. I always said Toon Link was the best link.
Help us chat. No way. Get the fuck out of here. Marcus
Link-
was an adult Link believer.
I'm an adult Link believer. I'm still an
exactly.
adult
Link.
There
Adult
you go,
Link.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
I've always been a
Toon
Toon
Link is
Linker.
lit.
yeah. See, my thing is adult link's the best, but a requirement is to be able to do the task 0 to deaths.
Yeah,
So,
hey,
that's
Spitty.
just a requirement. Sorry.
Not the best, because we're
Toon
human
Link
beings.
is like as the game progressed, Toon Link just is deceptively the scrappiest, and that really helps a lot. That dash attack is very like low skill, just throw it out. Like
Okay, I was nodding, and that is not what I thought you would say.
I mean that
Forward
Oh,
tilt,
I love
up
that. I love
tilt.
that.
anyone could just fucking spam dash attack with Toon Link, bro. Like
I'm about to start, dude. I can't wait. I've never even played Wind Waker. I'm about to main Toon Link.
that shit is that good.
Wait, dash attack? You say? I know how to spam dash attack pretty
His
well.
dash attack is that good. I'm serious.
Down tilt. People were playing. I said, bro, Toon Link's down tilt's good, bro.
Yeah, that
Why would
shit
you ever
nasty,
use
bro.
down tilt? Bro,
His
all his
up
tilts
tilt,
are
bro.
ridiculous.
God, his up tilt is so ridiculous.
I think his forward tilt's messed up because it's like it just all sends in one
That
direction.
dash
and
attack
it's
is
like,
OD, bro.
It
yeah.
arcs too, dude.
There
It's
it
got a
is,
good
bro. He
hitbox.
just dash
There it
attacking.
is.
They caught the goat Zackray. What the heck? Gotta be
Oh, with the
broken.
dash attack?
Zackray does it too with Pit, except on high percent.
I love it. I'm becoming a level 1 fan, like 1,000%.
Oh yeah,
I think it's so cool.
I love watching all the links. Like a good pilot
Oh.
of a link player hits different. It doesn't matter which one it is.
Let's not get carried away here, but all right, cool.
Oh,
All right.
Dude,
Anyway,
he hit under the orbiter shields. That's so good with up tilt. Dash
Genius.
under. That was nice.
oh,
I think Toon Link in
Dang.
general just deals with that move well, even though it's a pretty I think like of the moves that Pit and Dark Pit have, like I think of that move as like, oh, that might be kind of broken in the right
It's a
situation.
little corny.
Yeah, corny. There you go.
Yeah,
That's the word I'm
indeed.
looking
It's a little
for.
corny.
Nice.
it reminds me of Steve Block, where it's like, oh, you get access to this thing in the air, which is like essentially a shield where you shouldn't. Like
Right.
you know how Steve gets access to all these grounded things when he's in the air. Like it's
Right.
kind of like that vibe where it's like, okay, so you get the shield on the ground and the air. That doesn't make a lot of sense. And he really needs it because his air mobility and his jumps are very like not very helpful when he's getting beat up. So having the beer burst and just a shield, bro. Toon Link dash attack is just
Dude,
go online and start dash attacking with Toon Link.
I'm
You
about
know,
just to
it
feel
looked like
something,
you
bro. I'm
created.
about to do it.
I'm
Oh.
serious. It's OD. Yo, Toon Link is
Dude,
hype.
this guy is insane.
He-
Yo.
he's like the Belmont player Dom, like just always comboing off of the boomerang, off the bombs, off the items, off everything. This shit, man. I'm about to play the blondes. Toon Link and
look how
10, bro. It's
scrappy.
over.
Look how scrappy
Ooh.
dash attack.
Bro,
They
this
gonna
is
land.
He
No
is
double.
scrappy. That's a
dash
good word.
attack. Dude, he's scrapping against Rob. Like, can we can we
bro.
just take a moment to think
Rob
about
does the
this?
same thing with dash attack, low key.
It's
Toon
down
Link's even
tilt.
better.
Oh,
but-
these recoveries though. Okay.
Dude, the crazy
Oh my
like
god.
This character
this was
fly.
an insane. We didn't even mention the fact that Miya kind of just won.
I started.
And we didn't even
to,
get
it's
to
like,
that.
dude.
Yeah.
I think
Bro.
there's a lot of major tournaments like that where the story gets all crazy and then you kind of just forget that like there was a person in there that just was kind of
Just
chilling.
won. He
We've
just-
we've
he
talked
lost
Happens
about
that,
very
but
often
just
at these
won.
like big tournaments where there's this crazy climax, but like it's not grand finals all the time. You know what I mean?
Has mentioned that last week, right?
We've
You know
listened.
what
We've said it a
crazy
couple
things?
times. It's like a commentator secret where you don't actually want to. Well, some tournaments you want to cast grand finals. Sometimes that's the case. You want to cast if you're a caster and you have the choice of what to pick. Tournament like this, top
Whoa, don't give him
128.
the secrets, Has. Don't give him
I
the
don't give a
secrets,
shit.
bro.
128,
Top
64,
128.
lock it in.
Top 128 to top 16, fire. Don't get me wrong, a lot of great matches in this top 8 that were super fun, but the what if, you run out of what ifs, which is the most fun thing in commentary. Like, damn, what
Yeah.
if? Like I did with all the Asimo shit. Like, what if you won that game too? Like, shit, that would have been fire. You know how many what ifs there were? Again, Hurt got 25th of this tournament. Like, what the hell?
It's always
Hurt.
impressive and a really good feeling though, where you're so comfortable that like no one can really say anything. Like you're just getting the dub and they can't stop it. Like it's very satisfying being in that position. Very
Yeah.
satisfying.
Yeah,
Mia's
it's the
they
start
got
of the
pushed.
tournament. Oh, good.
Miya's making a push for #1 player. Like that is not talked about enough. Like,
he's in a weird spot because I think he had like a pretty good well, not last season because Acola's last season was ridiculous, but he had a pretty good case, and we'll talk about this more on the Patreon later. But then he got that 17th, and it was just all right. See ya. Acola's those placements like a third or something. So I mean, but he wins the events. He's beating the best players. And the thing that really like threw me for a loop this tournament was the ending of this tournament was a flip of the last time they played where Acola got saved by the block and then he did the minecart down air. This tournament, Acola died from the block, and I was like, dang, man, live from the block, die from the block. Like I want to be mad, like, because I always complain about the block. I'm like, dude, like, this is stupid, like, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, dang, bro, died from the block. Like, I can't even, like
block betrayal, bro.
Block betrayal. Like, that's so
BP.
upsetting. What's interesting to me is I'm not sure if the Aegis will work against me. It's something we'll have to see. I mean, against Acola. Oh, no, yeah, against Miya. Yeah, I said it right the first time. If Acola's Aegis will work against Miya, because
there's definitely a chance that it won't be that simple.
Yeah, he might just hit him one time, 3 times. Like, he might just send him on stage 3 times and GG's. But Miya looks so practiced against Acola specifically. Like, so practiced.
Yeah.
Like, almost to the point where it's like image training or something. Like, he's just pictured all this stuff in his head, and when he's just like, okay, this is happening, this is my response, this is happening, this is my response, it's almost perfect. And it's still weird because like he'll be close to losing, but if when I'm watching it, I'm like, oh my goodness, you have practiced this so much. You have put so much effort into this. And I mean, the Aegis might be a nice little switch up. And Mia's like, whoa, what the heck? Like, I'm not sure what to do. But I also think he's so practiced against Aegis in general that it could be a little tough. So
it might have to be a bit more specific than simply picking it if you're against Spargo. You know what I mean? It might have to be a bit more specific with stages and how the set is currently going. And it's also, as it stands right now, not even 100% necessary, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You're right.
So Steve
is getting bodied.
When you lose 7 times in a row, I think it's 100% worth it to like have a simple like I'm doing this versus X person. But if it's back and forth, I think you can consider it. But maybe it's not just throwing Steve out the window. But yeah, I like what Marcus I like what y'all had to say about Miya in general. Just a kind of quiet, dominant victory and making a strong case for #1.
He wants it. You could tell, bro. He's pushing. He's pushing.
This will be close. This upcoming ranking, I think it's going to be the
second half.
Oh, the second half. Yeah. I was about to say the first. I don't think the first
half is not close.
First ranking.
I'm not gonna lie. They didn't have us in the first half.
It's pretty set.
Right. But right now, it feels like the race to first is pretty close. Yeah.
Which maybe that's part of it, right? Like part of the things that we were struggling with in the first half of the year. It's like, bro, like Acola's not going to anything. We can't like really see, or I mean, he's going to a lot of things in Japan. He's not coming here, and like not enough of us are going there. So it's like, I mean, all these tournaments are happening, but does it even matter? Like at the end of the day, like you already know who #1's going to be. You know who #2 is going to be. And it like kind of stagnated the storyline a little bit, where it's like, okay, well, these things are happening internally, but what about globally? And now, like with Spargo, really going over to Japan and them coming here for a Supernova, there's a chance for some things to get shaken up, especially because Acola didn't win that event. Miya won. And Miya is more prone to losing over here than Acola is. So I mean, there's some exciting things coming up for sure. And I don't know. When I think about Aegis, speaking of Aegis, hold on. Nope. We're back. Cosmos beat Spargo recently, right?
Yep.
Right?
Very recently.
Acola beat Spargo, right?
2 seconds ago. Yep.
Leo's Aegis is back. We forgot about the character. Y'all try to
No, I did not.
Aegis not even that good, man.
This podcast.
On this podcast.
You know what?
This podcast, That shit is broken on this podcast.
Wasn't Leo like?
Actually,
Yeah,
I did not like
he
when
just
Leo
not
would
even
say
top
that.
10.
I did not.
And now look at him. He back.
Yeah,
He back.
that's a good transition into Warehouse War 4.
Before we get to that, can I just say something about Kowloon before we move on just to the tournament in general? I just loved, and a part of why I feel so good about where we are in Ultimate, like suddenly again after watching this tournament, is I just love the culture, man. The lights, like for the walk-ups with the top 8, the intros when the players came up, the Japanese casters, I love them. Like they had
were going
energy.
crazy.
They were really, really fun. The party streamers when Miya won, like I just loved all that stuff. And I think they're little things, but they really add up, man. They really do. Like you cannot talk about the Japanese ultimate scene without talking about the passion and talking about what they bring to the table. It's incredible, and it felt so awesome to watch that tournament. I just wanted to leave on that high note that I thought it was one of the best watching experiences I've had an ultimate period. I thought it was incredible. So shout out to that. And now, sorry, we can move on to Warehouse War 4.
And shout out to
Great
Sparta for taking the trek there.
It's a
'Cause
long journey.
Not many of us are able to do it or currently doing it. So, yeah, it's inspiring. I would love to compete there because the tournaments are just more valuable and obviously a good time too. But that shit hard to get there.
Ain't
You
never
haven't
been,
been yet,
right?
right?
No, not really for Smash. Not
Dude,
like
you
that.
get to play so many different matchups at such a high level. You know, all of your mid tiers like Duck Hunt and Belmont, like
We fit.
We Fit
Gets played, right?
trainers. I know Gavin would love competing in Japan.
This should sound like an
Probably
MkLeo
would
local.
prefer it. I would probably prefer it. I'm not trolling.
Ooh, okay. That's good to hear. I mean, I would love to see you compete in Japan. It would be fun.
Yeah, I mean, that's the goal. I don't know if it'll actually happen, unfortunately, but we'll see. But yeah, this is a good transition. I watched the entirety of Warehouse Wars Top 8, and Leo was definitely the best player in the room the entire time.
Yeah.
And
Agreed.
I think it was pretty clear. I think it was very clear. And I think he had a little bit of spice with whatever character he picked, which is also a really good sign. It just looked inspired. His gameplay looked inspired, and he was taking hits really far. He was getting really creative, just so confident, and people just did not have an answer for it. It was pretty crazy. But it was very going farther into it. It was very interesting because Shiny Mark was fresh off a very impressive W. And Shiny Mark had to make quite the trek to have a good run to top 8. We don't see that much Zomba lately. Zomba just had another. It kind of reminded me of Miya in the sense of he's just quietly just going to get into the grand finals and no one can really do much about it. Mudace was there. I'm trying to remember. Those are 4 of the top people in top 8. But it was a great time, and especially Leo's Joker, man. I know that there's characters that are better than others, and I know Aegis is super strong, but I was telling this to Marcus where I think if Leo picks a character he truly vibes with, it'll go much farther than him picking one of the best characters in the game. And I'm not saying he doesn't vibe with Aegis, but it's clear when people talk about Leo, me personally, I would talk about plenty of characters before I talk about the Aegis. The Aegis has its spice and it has its flair of creativity, but it's not going in the Hall of Fame. It's just not.
Leo Hall of Fame.
Ike, bro, 100%.
I'm not watching the Aegis and thinking this is not recreatable. This is so creative. This is changing my life. But with other characters, I might say something like that, bro. The Marth back in the day, the Meta Knight, even the Violet is a lot more spicy than the Aegis. The Joker is obviously legendary. So I just want him to keep playing like that, and I want him to keep selecting characters that helps him play like that. I don't fucking care if it's a 55-45 and you're struggling. Please, just pick the character that you are spicy with. Please.
X Factor, bro.
Low key.
It's the most important thing. It really is.
Low key. Okay, so after we've watched a lot of Leo, we've talked about Leo quite a lot. I mean, it's hard not to. Dude's a goat.
It was a fire W, by the way. Good job, Leo.
Speaking of, y'all need to watch these Gavin restreams because we'll be in there And like Gavin does this thing. He's very good at it. He talks about it a lot, but he'll be like, or I'll ask him like, who do you think's playing the best that day? And he'll just be like for S Factor, he was like Shiny Mark, and then Shiny Mark won. Just won.
He's got
And
an
I was
eye.
like, I came in, I think it was like a little before top 8 or maybe during top 8.
Like the start of it.
The start of it. I think it was the start of it. And I was like, who do you think's playing the best? And he's like, Leo. And then Leo won. So hey, if you ever want to know who's gonna win an event, just hop in that Gavin stream. Like if
I'll give you like the grand finals and everything too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll break it down
damn.
as much as I can. Yeah.
Yep. He was like, yeah, Shiny Mark's playing the best, but Sonics has like the most time to ramp up. So I mean, there's a possibility that it's gonna be Sonic's. Which I'm like, okay, like I don't even get it. But yeah. So after watching Leo for a long time, and everybody, please bring back the Rob. Please bring back the Joker.
No,
Drop the Aegis, please. The
Not the
Roy,
Rob,
the
not the
Meta
Rob.
Knight, the Marth. Hey, I'm a big
Okay, Meta Knight Marth. Wait, hold on.
Did I say Corrin? That's probably the biggest one. Is like him and Corrin, and why he doesn't play him or played them. I actually really like him going back to Aegis. I think there was a lot of doubt around his Aegis, and it was around the time that realistically he was just playing people who had caught up to him. He was playing Sonics more. He was playing Gavin. He was playing a bunch of people, and he was losing. And like I don't think people were used to seeing him lose that much. But after watching it and seeing him go back to it, because there was I think it was when he went to Roy, I was like, at this point, just go back to Aegis, man. Like, it's not like you were doing awfully with Aegis, you were just losing sometimes. And I mean, at this point, that's going to happen because there's so many people that are so good at the game. But his Aegis has a place, and I don't think I could say a lot of the characters that he tried to play recently, like, felt like they had a place where, like, why are you picking Roy in this scenario? Like, it just doesn't, I don't get it. Or like, why are you picking this character? Like, why are you picking up Rob in this scenario? You know what I mean? Like, you don't need it specifically for Min. You have characters that can do pretty well against Min. Like, you have Joker, like it does okay, right? So like, I just didn't feel like it had a place, but I feel like when I'm watching Leo play Aegis, like, it has a place in his lineup, and it allows him to be a lot more confident and a lot more flexible. And I think that's the thing that I took away the most from it is if he ran into a matchup like he was going to play against Pikachu or he was going to play Sonic, he just knew like, okay, well, I have to warm this up, right? Like, I just have to play Aegis and like be ready for that. Or he was going to play someone else and be like, okay, well, I just have to have my Joker ready. And I don't think he needs to play more than those two characters, honestly. I can't think of a matchup where it's like, bro, they both get rolled by the same character. Maybe there is one out there. I can't think one off the top of my head, but I do think it allows him to be very confident with either one hit that he picks. And that is something that can go a long way to where he's not like thinking so much, should I go Byleth here? Should I go Roy here? Should I go X here? Like, Joker and Roy do about just as well. Which one am I going to do? It's like it just brings back the confidence that we always knew that Leo had. And I mean, when he's playing confidently, like every like excellent, great player, he looks unstoppable. So we saw it this weekend where he just looked like he was so much better than everyone else, and he was cooking, bro. It felt good to see that movement. It felt good to see that movement again. Oh my gosh, like, bro, that dude's the GOAT. That dude's the GOAT. Like,
I just think Aegis is too powerful. And like, even if you look back on Smash University's Aegis guide, something that I valued really high right when the character came out that I thought was very underutilized was Foresight. We see basic, yeah, and we even saw Acola. How many times did you see Spargo just throw the why not back air, and then like,
Foresight.
All right, spot dodge already broken in ultimate. Then there's this character that has witch time with spot dodge. So it's like it almost makes me even question. I still think Steve is the best, but I feel like if Foresight gets more utilized, and who knows what could be on the horizon for this character, maybe this character is the best in the game. Again, my opinion right now still stands that Steve is, but I don't know, man. Foresight is really good, and I just feel like Aegis has a more balanced matchup chart than Steve. Like, and maybe this is my lack of knowledge, but I feel like the matchups that Steve loses them harder than the matchups that Pyramithra loses. So that's my mentality. But maybe there is. I know there are really tough ones for.
I mean, that's why
especially like the Min, right? The Min is super crazy hard and stuff like that. But I don't know, man. I'm just seeing Foresight be used on moves that are Omega safe / like you should never punish this move. Like Cloud Backer on shield, you can parry it and nothing will happen. Rob Nair after the up B can't parry it, you will not get a punish. But Foresight punishes these things, and the character has so much crazy combo game. It's not like this punish is mediocre. It's like this punish is going to hurt, and the advantage state is going to hurt. But
there was actually someone on Twitter. I can't find the tweet, but it was something like in their set, 50% of Spargo's bears were either parried or foresighted. So I'll try to find that tweet and link it at the end or something. Wow. But it was something.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. It might have even been higher than 50.
Bro, Foresight is not fair.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the strategy was clear, and that's what I was saying about the Aegis. Is it had a purpose, right? Like there was a game plan there. It was designed to do this. Beat Cloud Back Air. Sounds so simple on paper. Really fucking not easy to do with almost any character in the cast, except for a couple of them, and one of them for sure is Aegis. So again, big props to Acola for having a strategy, finding it, making it work, and grinding it over 2 years to make it happen. Either way.
Bro, if someone's walling you out with safe retreating aerials, you can go for that spot dodge with Mithra, and there is nothing bad that will happen to you. If they're drifting away, throwing out an aerial, even if you mistime the spot dodge, like as long as you don't mistime it to the point where you're coming back from it and you get hit, obviously that's terrible. But I just feel like that tactic in itself, I've always even thought, I thought something meta defining was spot dodging aerials in general. So because of how spot dodge cancel works, I think top players can actually spot dodge certain aerials and then attack cancel out of them to essentially punish something that wasn't punishable, because you don't have to go through the parry timing. You just essentially, I ignore block stun and then I'm intangible, but then I have a 4-frame bonus window to attack out of it, right? But Mithra gets to do this specific tactic without being like insanely perfectly timed within like X amount of frames or something like that. It just makes that tactic very much more accessible. And just the fact that if they're retreating, they can't really punish your spot dodge anyway. It just feels so powerful to me. But obviously the character still has its weaknesses off stage. Like you can just randomly just die and lose, right? So I get it, but I feel like we're seeing the Foresight being used a lot more within like the last month or two, and I feel like that's only going to go up. And I feel like Aegis stocks are going to continue to go up. So
I recently did this tier list video for Luminosity, and what you're talking about kind of reminded me of, I put Sonic first and Steve second, and it came down to when Steve is in a rough spot, like in a rough matchup or a rough situation, it's very clear that something is lacking. Like when he's getting bullied and he has no materials, like it's very clear that there's nothing he can do. Sonic will never be in a situation where you're like sympathizing, like, oh, he can't do anything in this
or
spot.
Sonic.
Like, but for Steve, although it's very, very unlikely and a lot of mistakes have to be made for him to get to that point, it's still possible where it's not his fault. You know what I mean? Like when he's getting hit by Cloud 1,000 times and he has no materials, like it's very clear that he's in a position where, you know, you can sympathize. But, and I think that's valuable if you're separating the best of the best. It's very important. And, you know, it's why I made the decision I made. And there's a lot of characters or players that can't get Steve to that point. And a lot of the time the Steve player just has to not make a couple simple mistakes and it won't happen. But it's still possible. For Sonic, there's nothing you can do to put yourself out of a scenario. Like you're never going to be like truly struggling and you have no choice but to lose or something. So that was
my statement because I forgot about Sonic. You reminded me about that character. Yeah. That guy exists. Never mind.
If you're using that logic, Sonic has to be.
Yeah, you're right. Correct. Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, it was a great weekend for Smash. Leo dub. There was some. I like the way Haz was talking about how timelines are kind of adding up right now. Supernova. It couldn't be a more fortunate timing for a tournament like SmashCon / Supernova, just because there's a lot of questions that would like to be answered. There's a lot of new data presenting itself. The European rankings are like Gluto's not first for the first time in a while. Acola beats Spargo with Aegis. Miya wins the tournament over Spargo and Acola. All this crazy stuff. Some of these players coming to the U.S. for the first time in a while. There's a lot going on. Leo's
A big
looking
shiny mark performance,
Yeah,
right? Like
shiny
shiny mark
mark,
popping off, and
Shiny Mark in general.
yeah, shiny mark in general. Leo's fresh off of playing really well and getting a nice win. Lots of cool stuff. I think that about does it, though. I think that's a good transition into the Patreon bonus topic, actually. The rankings are going to be coming out early August. So, yeah, thank you so
Ooh.
much for watching, as always.
One final note: shout outs to Leia, the Greninja player. Really good tournament. I saw all the results. I was like, wow, Leia must be in top 8. Oh, 17th. All right, well, that is just how crazy that fucking tournament was. To be honest with you, there are too many players to shout out, though.
Knocked her out of the tournament. Her had a surprisingly lower performance than usual.
Weirdly inconsistent result for her. And then the other thing was we talked about when the big house went to the side. Is that one thing? Having less events, obviously, it sucks. But now when there are good events, I feel like we feel it even more. So I just, again, want to end on a positive note of like, it sucks to lose events, and that's obviously never great. But hopefully everyone can appreciate what we have and how good things can be when they do pop off. So sometimes, gotta ride the highs when they be coming in. So that's it.
Yeah. Thank you so much for supporting, as always. We're going to get into some bonus content. See ya.
See you.